All right, everybody, welcome back to Friday Draft League. I'm pretty exhausted. I've had some long days at work this week, but I am joined by my two casters, Cinematic Gaming. He is new here. He will be doing our play-by-play today, and once again, Zyduk on the color casting. Cinematic, go ahead and introduce yourself. Why have you joined Risen's casting squad today? What's up with that?
Oh, the main reason is because I've tried some of my own casting for, I guess, technically a few years now, but I've always enjoyed it. I've always enjoyed seeing how players play the game and basically commentating on it live, and I've never actually really done it in an official format. So I was like, you know what? Risen's probably the best league that I've seen and been a part of, so why not join and try doing that? And so here I am doing that.
Very nice. Very nice introduction. I like to do a little intro whenever somebody new is on here. But let me go ahead and introduce the teams now. First off, we've got Magikarpediem. We'll be shortening that to Carp today. They are the third seed in Group B. On the other side, we have Noar, which we will ironically be shortening to Noir. Yeah, hilarious. They are Group A sixth seed, and they will be facing off today. Noir, we actually saw last week in the tiebreakers for seeding. If I remember correctly, they were up against a really good marksman on the other team. So a bit unfortunate for them, but their mid laner was putting on a bit of a show in the early game. So I think we can look to him to see if he'll be the leader of his squad this week. On the other side of the aisle, Noir. Oh, sorry, I just went over Noir. On the other side of the aisle, Carp. Seems their highest ranked player is their ADC. He does play a few different champs, so it's going to be kind of hard to ban him out. I'm not sure if they'll try to go for any target bans. Does seem like their jungler plays a lot of Kane, but we're going to have to see what the teams go for as we are getting straight into the draft here.
Yeah, that's a Vayne ban right away. It's that's Aatrox ban on the other side. We did expect the Aatrox ban, one of the strongest top laners of the patch, and yeah, it's a big the top laner of No R is a big fan of that Aatrox and the Syndra ban away. These are the two big pocket picks that scream at you when you look at No R's champion pool. It's the Vayne and the Twitch on the other side. They're just really trying to ban out the 80 carries of this on this carp side of their highest ranked player. And there's the Kindred ban. She's just a strong controlling jungler. Generally.
It's interesting how recently that top lane seems to become making a comeback in this meta because we've been bot centric for so long, and all of a sudden you're getting these picks like the Aatrox that are just out of nowhere, it's so strong, and immediately it's going to get nerfed. But for now, it's kind of taking the focus away from bot lane, which as a top laner I enjoy. I like having agency in the top lane, but
it did feel like it was Renekton, Cassante, just tanks like that Scion for quite a while in that top lane. But yeah, there have been a few carry picks popping up here or there. Seraphine, that's a bold first lock in. Not really seen too much of it. Could be flexed to either the 80 carry support mid roll even of Noah here. So yeah, just interesting pick. It's flex, so obviously in that first pick it's not the most dangerous to pick because if they try to counter it, you can just move it away. Oh, and Syra can't pick up. That'd be definitely very meta if they decide to pick up that bot lane for themselves. Syra Khan has been prevalent right now, to say the least.
it is an interesting dynamic of do you want to pick power picks first because there's such strong champions and they play into what you want to play, or do you want to retain that flex? So if they counter it, you can then change the lanes. It's a really balanced game that it's interesting to see which teams go for which. I'm personally more a fan of picking a flex pick.
Yeah, the flex picks do hold definitely a lot of power, but Aurelion Sol has been picked up here, just safe, reliable scaling for the mid laner. Generally, as Willie was saying in the introduction, the mid laner has been putting on a show throughout Draft League, I believe, looking at their Risen stats here. So Aurelion Sol is generally seen as a more neutralizing mid laner. He has the ability to just put down the E and then shove the waves, a lot like a lot of the static shiv mid laners have been doing. They're picked more in nowadays to try and neutralize these lanes, get those waves clear. And there's the Xayah looked in on the other side, obviously as a denial for that Zyra Khan synergy in the bot lane there.
The static shift meta has been a bit, I don't want to say annoying, but it's been a bit overhauled in terms of how easily waves can be cleared down.
Yeah.
I'm not a fan.
No, yeah.
Really, Soul at least has to use his kit to do it.
Yeah, but he has a similar role in that situation. Oh, and then Lissandra picked up. That's nice, a roaming mid laner. So that pretty much closes out the Seraphine flex as well. Where I'm more confident, unless there's a random top flex, that this Seraphine is going to be in that support role with the Lissandra picked up in the mid lane. I mean, something crazy could happen as we start our playoff series, but
I'd root for them if they went top lane Seraphine. I mean, how can you not root for that team? That's very interesting. But yeah, it will be going to support. I don't know how the biggest fan into in Zaya Rakan, because Seraphine prefers people that are immobile so she can easily hit spells on him, and Rakan's known to be pretty nimble. We'll see how that plays out.
Yeah, Aphelios is picked up on the other side. It just looks like they're going for this safe scaling team fighting approach with the Aurelion Sol and the Aphelios locked up there, trying to use that Rakan to keep safe in lane. Maybe give out a few waves. Give up a bit of pressure to get this massive team fight. There's the Tryndamere picked up. They're going to focus on some of these top laners on the side of Carp. Noah could be forced into blind picking that top laner, so Carp could pick like a more of a neutralizing top laner to try dampen down one of these carries if Noah decides to go in that direction. So yeah, they can just ban out some of the top laners that the top laner on the side of Noah is more comfortable with, and on the side of Noah you're going to see them ban out these neutralizing these tank top laners, which we've seen all too much recently. So yeah, there's the set banned out as well. Not the most popular at the moment, but still can be very prevalent, especially if you are in lower elo, so you have such an elo gap as they do between top laners in these teams.
I was looking into the teams a little bit beforehand and noticed that in general for all the teams in the league that Fighter and Bruiser top lanes are definitely more of the raves that are picked, and tanks kind of go to the wayside. But I think especially with the comp that has the scaling or aggressiveness, you need something to counter that front line. So that is not running into any carry.
Yeah, and the Ekram band away there is a another one of these. He's a jungler that can really start to pick up and dominate in the game if he gets those kills. Although I think that's a bit off of what they want to try to do. They don't really want to look for a jungler who's trying to pick up kills and snowball the game. They probably want something that's maybe a bit more tanky to protect this Aurelion Sol, to protect this Aphelios, and Shyvana is picked up. I've seen, obviously, Shyvana just received some massive buffs over the past week, especially to her on hit builds. With some, actually, I'm not too sure of the buffs, but I know she's been very prevalent in the top lane just this week. So it's interesting. That's still a bit of a flex pick there from Carp.
Yeah, I think it was her Q attack speed that got buffed, but it is definitely a weird kid that can go both in top and jungle, but I think he's only going to be in the top lane buff for that.
Oh wait, Nautilus is picked up.
That one's more meta.
Yeah, but it's but they already have a support, so is it going to be Nautilus jungle?
Jungle, yeah. Jungle Nautilus has been around for a few patches now, and is probably one of the more underrated junglers in my opinion, considering how easily he can just gank. His Q is already a million hitboxes wide, so it's almost a guaranteed.
There's a Garen picked up there. I'm not sure if Garen is the champ you want to pick if you have if you're expected to dominate in your top lane matchup so much. But Garen definitely can do that. He can, if the top laner of Carp disrespects him, can definitely run over this lane and can then use that lead to run over the game there. So Garen is certainly an interesting pick as we see the full composition there from Noah, and Shen is going to be picked up in response. I quite like Shen here with the global impact, because especially if you are looking at top lane matchups with lanes that you expect to be losing, like as in you're obviously a worse player being the gold to diamond matchup in this lane. Shen does have the ability to impact the map, to use the ultimate ability to protect this Aphelios from dives, because if you do look on the other side, this Nautilus, Lissandra, Xayah, Seraphine bot side 4 has the ability to get on this Aphelios to dive them and and get out. So yeah, I think Shen is good to try counteract some of the ideas Noir are trying to push on top of them.
Yeah, it's definitely a protect the AD carry pick or whoever they're piling on for sure. My only concern was that Garen is a counter pick to the Shen. His Q can stop his ultimate. I mean, he's just an overall counter to Shen. So if Shen is going to use his ultimate, he has to make sure he's well away from that Garen.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it does. You do have to be obviously respectful of the Garen in this lane. But I'm just expecting that Shen is just gonna be sacking waves and then using that ultimate to impact the map. And if it plays out like that and they manage to keep this Aphelios safe, I think they have a lot better scaling fighting comp here with the Aphelios Rakan lane with the ability they have in team fights with the Aurelion. So with the Shyvana when it gets onto a few items there. But on the side of Noir, they obviously have plans. They know what they want to do. They want to be diving these bot laners. They want to be finding skirmishes in the map, using the Lyssandra's early proactivity to get these leads, using the Xayah to get these leads, and then they want to be able to snowball that, get kills onto their AD carry, and try cruise out a win here. So yeah, I'm liking the whose draft am I liking more?
It depends on actually what happens in game in my opinion.
Yeah.
The first 5 minutes are pretty much going to dictate how the game should unfold. If they get the dive off or they get the 5 plates and a full tower plus the rift tower, I mean, it's just going to be a snowball, and there's nothing they can really do to stop it. So it'll be dictated rather quickly, I think.
I think one of the things you also have to look at in this matchup is how much Shen gives up, because obviously, as you said, it is somewhat of a counter matchup. Garen does have quite a good time into Shen. He can quite enjoy the matchup, but if Shen gives up too much in the matchup to Garen, is sacking all the waves and giving all the topside pressure, that's also not going to be good for the Shen side. Even if they manage to get these ults onto the bot lane, because then Garen's going to be incredibly fed. As you said, they're going to be able to move over to Rift Heralds. They're going to be able to impact the map. The Garen's going to be able to get his lead and then roam it down into the bot lane. So even if this Aphelios starts to scale, starts to get on item equilibrium, and starts to be able to dish out a lot of damage in these fights, Garen could just be able to flash on him and shut that down if too much is given up. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see. I think we've had a internet issue maybe from the side of Carp here, so it's just going to be a minute before they start their client draft and we get into the delay. Do you have any ideas on this draft?
I'm going to be interested to see how the dragon control is going to be played around, because if the top side of the map should be watched, right? We know who's going to win that matchup most likely, so it's going to be interesting to see, do they play around the dragon and try to force that? But if they do, is there any real point? Because they want to win before 25 minutes anyway. So if they are going to stack those dragons, they have to do that rather quickly. So I'm going to be looking at the first few clears and what lane the junglers are pathing to and how they can get those lanes snowballing and then transfer that into the objective control.
Yeah, I mean, Noah does have an obvious bot push, and they have obvious bot Brian. Nautilus will have a really easy time if he just wants to start his blue buff and clear down here, do a few camps, trying to make a gank bot lane, maybe even mid lane with the setup Lysandra has. So yeah, I think if this Nautilus is starting topside, like I believe they should, and do path down into the bot lane, they will have a relatively easy time in this game. And Shyvana needs to be cognitive of that, and they need to be pathing towards that as well. So yeah, but like obviously, as you're saying, Shyvana is going to want to be around these dragons as well, right? Obviously with how her kit functions. So I think it is going to be difficult for them to start getting these dragons. They have a bot lane which is losing in isolation in the early levels. They have a mid lane which is equal, but obviously Lysandra has equal in terms of push, but Lysandra obviously has more utility and more of a kit in the early game than Aurelion Sol does. So yeah, it might be hard for Shyvana to get on these dragons and to help and to start scaling. So yeah, I do think it is a lot on what this Nautilus does, how he decides to use his pressure, try to stack these dragons, and I think we're into client draft. And I believe, unless you have any other thoughts, we're going to send it over to a break really soon. Anything else to say?
Just one last quick thought was that I might actually be looking out for an invade from the Nautilus jungle with this team
Yeah.
level 1, because if they can delay the Shyvana start, that relieves a lot of pressure off that lane. So that should be the one thing I'd look out for while we get into the game.
Yeah, well, we will see what this Nautilus decides to do with this pathing as we get into game. But for now, I think we're going to head over to a quick break as we're waiting for them to do their client draft and then obviously wait for the delay. Oh, they're walking into the top side. Not a glance.
That's going to be a very quick flash from Shen, level 1. That's already a losing lane. That's going to be in a lot more trouble now that the flash is gone.
Indeed it is. Yeah, I mean, like you did say, to watch out for this invade. Nautilus just walks in, forces the flash. That's all good. It looks like they've managed to drop a ward on the side of Carp on that red buff of Nautilus. Wow, sorry. Give me a second. Just was not quite ready for that. It looks like Nautilus is actually going to be pathing towards the bot side. He's looking to path up to his more experienced player. Both players are actually going to be pathing up towards this top side. So the Xayah Aphelios lane is going to be in isolation, whilst top lane is going to have all the action. Looking for an early kill onto this Shen to snowball this Garen, it looks.
Yeah, now that he knows his flash is down, it should be an easy gank,
Yeah.
especially if Shen is going to play aggressive, because he's pushing the wave right now, which probably is not the best move, especially since he knows that Nautilus did stun his red, so he should be expecting a gank in the next minute or so.
Yeah, should indeed. I feel like Rakana is going to give a little bit of a shorter leash there. The wave is actually going to be pushing in towards them, I believe. No, pushing away from them, sorry. So...
But if you look at the items on their side too, they've gone like full scaling items as well. You have the Call on their Philios, the Crystal on their Aurelion Soul, just trying to get to that lost chapter, or maybe even Tia as quick as possible. Like they've gone basically forfeiting the early game, going, we'll see you at 30 minutes.
Yeah. Yeah, he has taken the Aurelion Soul has taken the futures market, so it's looking for that LS buy of the futures market to get that cheater recall off and get the lost chapter at 3 minutes, which is especially prevalent since they reduced the price of lost chapters. Shen is taking some good trades here up in the top lane though.
Yeah. I guess managed to get that wave pushed in before Nautilus. Has he done a full clear? He's almost done a full clear.
Yeah, no, he's skipped his bot side camp, so he's going for the for red into Grump, which I find a bit strange that you're skipping the AoE camps. I thought from the limited games of Nautilus Jungle I've played, you generally quite enjoy your AoE camps. They're generally quite fast on Nautilus Jungle, I thought. But yes,
I think he was doing it purely to try to get to Shen as soon as possible, but then saw that his Garen had taken too much damage. And Lissandra's way back there.
Oh, what the hell happened to? Did we just completely miss that?
Lissandra also trying to rotate and punish this Shen, but Shen's just like, no guys, I have the health advantage, I can take these fights, and now Siobhan is going in on the Garen, and the Garen's forced to flash because Aurelion Soul has joined as well, trying to chase them down, but can't quite get in range. Lissandra not looking to go in, and I guess that's health advantage to the red team, and Lissandra has to back.
Yeah, just Lissandra was found. I think Shen was maybe going to go ward, and Lissandra was just spotted on the flank, so yeah, that's just really well played from pun intended there on the Shen. Finding that, and then Rakan is diving in. Aphelios is not going to have the effective range. He's going to get a little bit of poke out with that Caliban gun there. Yeah, and this is all actually looking quite nice for this Shen as he takes a trade.
Shen is actually not going to get the solo kill, is he? No, Garen, you have to back here. No way you should be losing 1v1 to a Shen this early on.
Yeah, Garen's just going to take the base. I think... I really don't know what it is, but Garen just hasn't seen much of a Shen. It's just disrespecting these trades with the grasp procs. I think Shen has been playing this lane incredibly well, engaging with the grasp up, blocking some of the damage with the W there. So yeah, I think it's been really successful. Garen has had to burn this TP early, so now maybe it's a good time for this Nautilus, who is currently invading the blue side, to go help out. And yeah, Nautilus has just spotted a timing there. Taken away the Grump. Well played from him, picking up on the little bits he can.
Managed to get the Bombi Cinder as well, which greatly increases his clear speed, even more so with all the AoE he gets. So it will be interesting to see if he gives up on the top side, going, okay, you know what, Garen's kind of losing the 1v1. Maybe I should help my bot lane, who's also a bit pushed in right now. But no, he looks like he's going back to the top side.
Yeah. This Aurelion Soul has managed to pick up the early lost chapter here, which massively helps him with the mana in the mid lane, helps him get these waves in, and tries to try get this shove into the Lissandra to try keep her in her place, because even though it failed us, there's just a little bit of trading going on here. Even though it failed with
A little bit of trading there, but I don't think Blue Team has kind of squandered a little bit. If we look at all the items, the Railing Sword and Shen both got better item buys on their counterparts with their backs. Shen with the Sheen beats the Dagger Longsword, and Railing Sword with the Lost Chapter beats simply a Amplifying Tome, but oh no, the flash hook goes wide as Shen manages to taunt out in time.
well played by Shen there. It's just keeping up this this flash advantage as well, as Shyvana is now starting to hover up. As you said, Shyvana's got stronger dueling items, so I believe red side would win the top side 2v2 if they opted into it. Both junglers are gonna back away from it though, as there's pings toward the dragon. Obviously, as we did mention in the pre-game, both these teams are gonna wanna try get these dragons, blue side to try to deny them, and obviously red side want to get them on their Shyvana and get the scaling going. It's gonna look like it's gonna be red side who have the push in the bot lane, have the priority to move over this dragon, which is gonna mean the armor and the stats is actually Shyvana's just clearing some vision. It doesn't look like they're gonna head over to it. Even though I think they probably have the ability to because of the Shen ultimate, of course.
I was gonna say that red team could force it there. Shen had the health advantage and the global ult to help as well, so I think they could have taken if they wanted to, but content was just to keep farming.
Yeah, Shyvana is looking towards the Triforce build instead of what some Shyvana's got, which is the tankier Frostfire build there. So she's going to be a big on-hit frontline in these team fights to start treading through some of these tanks like the Nautilus in the ground. I think that's quite a wise choice there for her.
You see, Felios also managed to get his first buy off with a 20 CS lead already.
Yeah,
I think
Felios
it was
is
perfect CS, I think.
it must be just dropping 1 or 2 there. Garnering a 400 gold lead. As Xayah has just managed to get her first recall here. Picking up boots, control water pots there just to try to stay in this lane. Yeah, Felios has been has just been dominating this lane, starting to start that cull, nearly getting it complete, which is looking quite good for the side of Carp here. Getting their scaling online, getting their tier starting to stack in the mid lane. Their Shen is not as we thought. He's actually winning in isolation in this top lane. Well, down a bit of CS, but generally up in health in the trades. But that is going to be the first Herald Tower secured by the side of Noir unless anything happens.
The Sandra showing them both off.
Yeah, the Sandra just marking them per se, making sure they can't get anywhere near the pits, so Nautilus can get an easy secure. As this Aphelios just has the XP lead, the item lead, and just has the ability to bully this Xayah here. It's not going to be very fun. With that red-white, he's already going to have taken 2 of the turret plates as well, the only person in the game to be taking his turret plates. And it's just been a rather dominant lane for this Aphelios on the side of Carp here, so there's nothing else too impactful or important going on here, however. Definitely the biggest difference in this game, still no first blood to be seen, which is different to what we normally see in these draft league games. They're generally quite scary, as yeah, everyone's going to be perfectly safe there.
Yeah. And now that we're kind of past 6, even though we're getting some trades on this top lane, I mean, Shen has the shields from his passive, Garen has the regen from his passive. Even if they do some trades, they're probably healed up by the time they go for a fight next.
Yeah, they're not really going to.
They all look into their own bot lane now, though. Maybe see some. They're on the bot side of the map, Lissandra and Nautilus, trying to maybe get something done.
Yeah, just making sure that Crab is going to be perfectly secured there. Yeah, Shen just picking up the early armor in his item as well is just going to help another fight on this lane. But yeah, as you said, they both just have armor. They both just have base armor. They have base resistances. Garen has all this HP regen we see ticking up now with the base level.
We say that, but he's getting rather low.
Yeah, he is getting low, but Shen doesn't really have that. I don't see Shen having that extra bit of damage in his combo to finish off this Garen here. They're just gonna be able to pick up the waves. They're both gonna base rather soon, nearing their first items. I would imagine so. Giovanna's just hovering here around this bot side to help their bot lane. As she's actually moving in for a lane gank, she's gonna see it spotted, clear out the vision. Expecting she is also gonna recall soon. I'm not sure if this is new tech I've never seen before, but the Aurelion Soul has picked up corrupting pots here. I'm not sure if he felt he needed it in this lane. Needed the extra trading damage, or needed the extra sustain the corrupting pot provides, or just didn't have gold for anything else useful on his base. Maybe I don't know what that is. As Nautilus is coming in for his top side, this is the dive potential of the Nautilus we spoke about, maybe as the Herald is placed.
Yeah, finally inside a place like Rift Herald has been a while. Just trying to get some plates before it gets expired.
It's not the biggest wave to work with on the dive, as the waves are gonna meet just before the turret there. The turret's gonna help shove it out, and there's gonna be no threat. Shyvana's gonna come up, just cover it, make sure this Shen is in a trouble.
Oh,
Garen is maybe a bit of extended.
Nautilus already has left. He's not here to assist him. Garen already has to flash. Shen still has his flash. If he has taunt up any second now, he could get the taunt off and get it out, but they don't have quite enough damage.
A bit too far.
Oh, we get the TP in from Lissandra as well. Nautilus flashing in, getting the ult on the Shyvana. Shen also comes in, but somehow Lissandra's TP got cancelled by the Aurelion Soul. Manages to get the ult off and goes back onto the Garen, getting the first blood. Nautilus is now trying to get out of here, realizing he's in no man's land, but he's just going to get run down as well, and that's two kills over to the red team. Yeah,
Aurelion Soul really the MVP in that one. Should have 2 assists in that fight, but unfortunately that's not how League works. Yeah, stopping that Lissandra TP with the E of the Aurelion Soul, which is something you don't really think about, but it is TC. It does move the champion in a direction they have not inputted. So yeah, it does have the ability to stop that TP there, and done so very well, very quickly to stop the fight. Maybe it's something that the mid laner here of Noir overlooks as well. So yeah, that's gonna be good. A kill going over to Wait as he's trading
Shen
in.
should be fine here. He's got the dash. He still has his flash. He's got the shield.
Oh, he does still have flash.
Okay.
Yeah, it's
just get out.
Just gonna be fine there. That is gonna be a gold injection, and now it's looking like the top side and the bottom sides on the side of Noah are losing, as Aphelios has just got a natural bounty, no kills here, having a almost 40 CS lead.
He's gonna get this tower. He's almost got the full tower.
If I know Aphelios, he's gonna get very close to it. When he has that red-white combination, he starts to shred through these turrets, especially because the lethality he gets on his passive, if he decides to level up that E, also helps shred through those turrets there. So yeah, Aphelios does get through these quite quickly, and so I'm not sure, because I do not have the ability to step up there. Now there's around 2.5k gold lead, most of it manifesting on this Aphelios here, with all the plates he's managed to get.
A big item lead for their team. Almost everyone has the mythic already, barring the Aurelion Soul, who's really just stacking up all the items because he's playing for super late game. But why play for late game when you just win the early game, I guess?
Yeah, they do have the late game composition, and they are winning now, as you said. The Triforce has been picked up there for the Shyvana. Massive spike there as well in terms of helping her through her clear, helping her duel as...
I'm surprised we didn't get the Seraphine ult off of there. You snared them both out. It could have ulted them into the tower.
Yeah, I think the whole wave was dead. I'm not sure why it didn't come out. Maybe just a little bit hesitant to send a play, or they knew that the Lissandra roam might have been a more guaranteed play. However, it's on vision. It's going to be cleared now, so Aphelios Rakan not going to be really under any threat, as this Nautilus is being collapsed on here. They have ideas that he is on Herald, as he's not been shown anywhere else.
Yeah, this Lissandra just showed bots, so they should know that, oh, like, we can go up to Rift Herald now. If Nautilus is doing, we just push him off and maybe even get there ourselves. But Lissandra is now coming up as well, so I don't know
I think
happening the top side, but they're going to start it. Is Sandra going to go in?
Move over now.
It's posturing. It's at half health. They're going to have to go in soon. Nahlis finishes off the blue buff. Lissandra just poking them out. They have no way out of here. Jen goes off on the Shyvana. Shyvana is now going in, but Aurelion Sol just kind of left. There's miscommunication as Gyarados comes down to the Shen, just annihilating him. Aurelion Sol now comes out, giving some feel for the Shyvana to get away, and that just went disastrous for them as they secure the Rift Herald and take a kill. And and a death on the bot side as well.
Yeah, Aphelios did manage to finally pick up that kill on the bot side. I feel like it's something we've been waiting for. But yeah, it's just I feel like it's a bit of a miscommunication. Aurelion Sol exited the pit, and Shyvana decided to go
Okay, now have the damage for the Rakan trying to get us. That just a little bit too far. The Zed does not have the damage. Wow.
Oh, she missed the
get out of that.
Oh no.
That is a complete disaster for the blue team as they lose the Rift Herald, lose a kill, lose the bot side, lose 2 turrets. Oh my goodness, that is not what we want to see from a team that's supposed to be relying on this game.
Yeah, it's just it's unfortunate. There's a miscommunication between the Aurelion Sol and the Shyvana. I think the Shyvana felt I'm sure this is something that if you're on one of these Burrito junglers you felt before. You're like, I'm on my first item spike, I feel on top of the world, I have a Shen to ult me in, I have a really big shield, and if this Aurelion Sol comes in behind me, I feel really confident in this fight. But then Aurelion Sol was like, I don't have my first item yet, I'm not feeling very comfortable in this situation. He exits, Shyvana goes in, and if maybe we don't know if Aurelion Sol went in there, that fight was winnable, but I didn't really feel like it. The Shen got isolated, lost his life there, but honestly, that's not even that worth of a play. Nautilus probably needed to be on the bot side, stopping their bot lane from getting dove, because now this Aphelios has a 3k gold lead. And if you've ever seen an Aphelios with a 3k gold lead, he has a full item up on his opponent. It's not very pretty. Generally, this Aphelios, if we look towards this mid lane where Aphelios manages to find auto attacks on the Xayah, I'm not sure if he's going to manage. They will start the shred. He's got his Gale Force picked up as well. And his cleanse. This Aphelios is insanely safe with this Shed, with this Rakan, with his Gale Force, with the cleanse, which he did have to run in the fight prior. As they're maybe looking to try and find an angle onto him. There's going to be nothing there. Shyvana's covering on the other side. And
not only did he get 4 plate spots and has gotten both turrets, but the CS numbers is also rivaling like a huge amount. And Shyvana manages actually to go in there, find an angle, but instead gets knocked up. Serafino coming into bias and Sandra coming up just in time to save her, as now they're trying to peel off and get that Aphelios to safety, but Nahlis is on top of them, but the damage coming from the rest of the members is just annihilating blue team, and Galen's now here to see all his team die. Now they get to pin on him and probably get a full ace here, but it's going to take one member with him. But you know, I don't think that's a good trade for the blue team.
Yeah, really? Wow. Yeah, one for 5. Pretty much just losing the game here. That's going to be the 3rd dragon as well. This Shyvana has 3 dragons now. She's incredibly fed. She's incredibly tanky. She has all this gold on her. She's sitting at about 1.7 in inventory there. This Aphelios is also insanely handy with 1.5k gold in his inventory as well. They're going to pick up this 3rd dragon. They're all looking fine and dandy. And now you have to think, how do we find a way back into this game on the side of Noir?
I mean, it's hard to find an angle, isn't it? I mean, you're the early game team, and Aphelios has 2 items, and no one else in the game has 2 items. Yeah. And you just completely got aced in mid lane, lost some more turrets. You're on the 3rd Drake, which is now Infernal Soul Point. There's not much you can really do at this point, it feels like.
Yeah. See, because if you're looking at how to win, how to like find a way back into this game, you need to find a way onto Aphelios, which is fine, because you have Lissandra, you have ways. Maybe I'm speaking too soon.
There's a way onto this Aphelios, but no CC comes out instead. Shyvana jumps in with a TP from the Aurelion Sol behind. The ult comes out onto Lissandra, trying to peel her down, trying to peel herself away, but does not manage to do so. Instead, that's just 2 more kills donated to the red team.
Yeah, as I was saying, you have to find a way onto this Aphelios, and you have to do that through Aphelios's cleanse. You have to do that through Aphelios's Gale Force, and even when you do that, you need to stop Shyvana and Aurelion Sol from one-shotting your backline. So if you manage to do all of that, at that point, you have a angle to try and come back into this game. But yeah, it's not all over. There is a massive gold lead onto one of the biggest scaling champs in the game. But there are certainly angles. You do have a composition that has the ability to one-shot a single person, right? With if you get on this Lissandra R on top of him when he doesn't have flinch, you get the Nautilus R coming on top, and then you get the Garen to walk forward, use this ultimate ability. It can one-shot this Aphelios no matter how ahead he is.
Nautilus manages to steal own blue buff away, trying to get away in, but I mean, if you're only in Lissandra Nautilus, you're still not going to be able to get that. Both ults go on to the Aphelios, but look, there's 4 members of red team. Where's the other blue team members? You can't follow onto somebody because of damage. Huge Seraphine Bolt coming out, but it looks like there's a bigger Aurelion Sol coming, smashing down onto them, managing to get away, and now they're just chasing down the blue team. Aphelios driven really low by the Seraphine, but Aurelion Sol and Shyvana are just on that front line, melting them down.
Yeah, it just feels like, see, here's the problem. It felt like everything hit onto the slides of Carp there. It felt like the Seraphine ult hit. It felt like the Zyra ult managed to like fruit almost everybody in the team. There was a big Nautilus ult there as well. But they just still didn't win the fight, right?
Yeah, I mean,
it's
they
like
had the Nautilus and Lissandra go down to the Aphelios, but if you don't have your Garen or Isaiah there to do damage, it doesn't really mean much.
Yeah. And now Aphelios' cleanse is down, but his flash is up in this fight. As Garen does manage to push and get that bot tier 1, but as we said, bot tier 1 for Baron probably still not the most worth trade, but at least it's something with these objective bounties coming up.
And Garen's gone for the whole brick as well, so I think he's just completely given up on team fights. It's like, you know what, if the only way to win is splitting, I'm just going to split. So, if he does that, guess what? You only have a Xayah to do damage, and she's an item and a half behind Aphelios, so...
yeah, it's not looking the best, and now they're, the only outer turrets standing are the ones on these top side. They're just going to move their Aphelios Rakan up. They don't really have the ability to fight them. Maybe Aphelios is feeling...
Garen is here now. They're trying to run him down, but Shyvana and Aurelion Sol on the way. Rakan's just here to delay them. I think he's going to manage to delay it long enough before his team arrives to help. Ults go down onto their Aphelios. There's all that damage. I think they're finally going to get him down. They do, but Lissandra gets traded back, and now Aurelion Sol here is here to do the damage, just staying there, shooting out his poison. And Red Team is actually struggling a little bit. This Garen is doing some work, but Aurelion Sol is just here for the rest of the cleanup, and that's going to be a quadra kill going over to the Star Dragon.
Yeah, that's not quite optimal there for the Aphelios. His Moonlight Vigil wasn't quite up in time. I think if that ultimate cooldown was up just in time, it would have been a completely different story. But they did find a way on top of him. They found a way to kill him. But as I said, even when you do find a way to kill this Aphelios, this Aurelion Sol, this Shyvana is still very far ahead, right? This Shyvana is still very tanky, does a lot of damage, and we just saw the Aurelion Sol managing to clean up that fight well there, and they did manage to get these outer turrets. So all outer turrets are now down as they're going to reset for Soul Point here, and it's Infernal Soul Point. Not the best role here if you're the side of Noir.
I mean, it could be worse. It could be Dragon. Sorry, that could be Dragon Soul. It could be Mountain Soul. I think Mountain Soul would probably be the worst case scenario here, but...
Yeah, I would imagine so, because that would just be like so much more resistances, especially on this Shyvana, who already gets resistances from taking these dragons. Yeah. They are looking like they're going to push it for a fight, as Aphelios is just standing alone in the red side jungle of Noir, but I do think he's perfectly safe, has that flash and Gale Force up, going to bait them in.
Does have the stopwatch available to him, and they have to, blue team has to be careful, because there is a decent amount of poke that Aurelion Sol can put out with his Leandri, so they aren't going to just start this dragon up, try to get it down, going on to the Rakan. If they can burst him down, maybe that's going to be good, but the Aurelion Sol comes out, and they just turn onto the Garen, blowing up easily, not even giving a chance to put an odd out, and there goes the wiping. Aurelion Sol just flying in, everyone's dashing everywhere, but at the end, it's just all the health while disappearing from the blue team, and I don't even know if there's any damage done on the red team. That's just a clean ace.
Yeah, and bot waves and top waves and mid waves are all crashing at the same time, so this is looking like it could be the game. They're going to push towards this middle inhibitor here. See if they can crack this down. Aphelios has perfect guns to this. He's just going to walk down, absolutely shred these turrets. And yeah, it is looking like it's going to be the game